Calico is one of the most mysterious mutants we've ever had in years. Let's talk about it. The main reason I say Calico is one of the most mysterious mutants we've had in such a long time is the fact that we know her mutant ability, but at the same time, we don't know her mutant ability. And you'll see exactly what I mean the more and more I dive into her character. One of the 4 new mutants in the Uncanny X-Men series I've been hyping up so much because this series is absolutely phenomenal. One of these days I'll make a video talking about how good this series is, but this is about Calico. And on face value, when it comes to her mutant ability, you would assume she has some sort of ability based around fire manipulation. You wouldn't be wrong, but it's so much more in depth and so much more intricate than like what is portrayed to us. Outside of the fire manipulation, another main aspect that comes from her mutant ability is her connection to that horse. Their bond runs so deep, so tight, that the only person Calico can truly trust is that horse. Their bond is so similar to that of a familiar, and I want you to keep that in your mind as we continue on. Eventually, we end up getting Calico's background and the whole reason she ended up joining these new mutants in the first place. And during that background synopsis, we find out that she is extremely super sheltered, like never leaving the house, only knowing the people in the building type sheltered. Her mom was the only individual she knew her entire life, and on top of that, that very mom was anti-mutant. But at some point, some way, somehow, her entire estate burns down. I want you to keep that in mind as well, because I believe that estate burning down is no coincidence, even though it's not been told to us how it happened. It all leads into Calico's ability to manipulate fire, because she's doing more than just using fire. She's able to make it more dense, make a juggernaut armor out of it. As you go in the series, able to conjure and manipulate these flames to work as literal armor, to work as a literal sword. She'll take on 4 Sentinels solo dolo that were able to challenge someone like Wolverine. The weirdest point of it all, horse can be summoned out of the flame. Mind you, this horse paired with Calico is strong enough to upheave tanks with little issue. Powerful enough to bang out with someone like Rogue on a small level of relativity. Mind you, Rogue actually had to put some oomph behind these blows to knock Calico down, just like Wolverine did for Ransom here. And even then, it did not knock her out. Before I go on, I want to put us all in the same mental state when it comes to Calico. Yes, she's a fire manipulator, but for some reason, some way, somehow, she's able to actually change the properties of fire. Make it more dense than it's naturally supposed to be. Make it more sharp than it's naturally supposed to be. Able to fire arrows from outside her body, and those arrows still stay manifest. Some way, somehow, all of these fire abilities are connected to that horse. They are one in one when it comes to explaining her mutant ability. Things take a drastic turn, a dark turn when it comes to Calico's powers. Around the Dark Artery subplot, came to the 4 new mutants explaining how their powers work, Calico notes that her mutant ability is having a psionic connection to a horse, a living horse. Man-Thing pushes her back. He senses a little bit of falsehood in Calico's statement because that horse that she's psionically connected with is not alive. In fact, it died, perished during the fall of her estate. And the one that's outside, even Calico has no clue what it is. More and more we go throughout this Dark Artery series, the more and more you find out. The familiar notion I told you to keep in mind is playing more and more to be true. Because no matter where Calico is, in the depths of darkness itself, she's able to summon Ember right by her side. And with Ember comes flames, the light, the antithesis to darkness itself. That's where the mystery lies. What is the horse Ember? Is he truly a familiar? Is he his spirit left behind from the burning of the estate? And we also have to ask the question, what burnt down the estate in the first place? Why was Calico so sheltered? Why was her mom so against Calico interacting with outside society? So much so that interacting with even the groundskeeper was enough to cause mayhem. It's possible that Calico, her family lineage, her entire heritage might be connected to some deep mystical plot that we have yet to experience or be told about yet. It might explain the fact that she is a necromancer in one way or another. She's able to bring the dead back to life. Again, right back to the first statement I ever made of this video, we know her power, but we don't know at the same time. She's a necromancer the same way someone like Death Dream is. It's told to us verbatim from an entity of darkness, entity of night, entity of nothingness, Shuvarak. The one has brought a dead animal back to life. It stands at the door, breathing stolen air. It's quite possible that her family might have a connection to a hell realm in one way or another. And because Calico is able to bring the spirit of her horse back from the dead, that hell flame that resides connected to that realm is being pulled along with it. And that might explain her fire manipulating abilities. Connection to the hells might explain why the entire estate randomly and abruptly went down in flames. This demonic entity that might be linked to her bloodline caused this downfall and forced Calico to evolve as a mutant. That's the mystery to her character. We have no clue what her true mutant ability is. She has necromancy on top of pyromancy. That has to, like, the connection to the hells is just too potent there. But that doesn't necessarily mean she is connected to them. I can't wait to see what they do with Calico's character, especially with the fact that she is some of the most emotional and, like, pro-mutants when it comes to the original four. Being the most sheltered of the four, she's the one that has suffered the most prejudice when it comes to being a mutant. And she wasn't even sure she was a mutant for a majority of her story arc here. Marvel's saving something big for her. It could be the very endling plot that they've been building up this entire series, but we have no clue. And I can't wait to see what ends up coming of Calico.